Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to build a header, and I'm going to walk you through creating and customizing the site header. We're going to learn the header types, the header positions and their overlapping settings, assigning and customizing the headers per page individually, and I'm going to show you also how to import a pre-made header from Ray's library. The first thing I want to show you is the default installations header, which should look like this, and is basically the default header. So if we access the customizer and go to header general, you'll see the header layout is set on basic, and you can see here you can disable it, or you can set it as a global section. Now global sections are Elementor based, so first let's take a look at the basic one. We can have a custom width, header height, and a few other customization options. Now personally, I don't recommend this one because it's super basic and it doesn't really get too much flexible. So I'm definitely recommending the global section. Now, if we go into a pre-made demo, for example, London, we can access the customizer and then header, general, and you can see it's already selected and a global section is picked. To access the global sections, or if you want to edit this global section, you can either hover this menu, open here, or you can go to the global sections backend menu. Oh, here it is. You can filter by type, let's say, and you can see here, and it also shows that it's active, set as active, and then we can edit with the Elementor. Now I already had it opened, so here it is. It's a section with a single column, and inside we have a bunch of widgets or elements. You can see them here. They're the first shown, and as you can see, I'm not using any columns, and that's because adding new columns adds extra markup and is generally not needed to add columns unless you want different types of much more complex headers. So for example, to recreate this header, I will just click here, new global section, custom header. I'm going to select header, publish, and edit with Elementor. We have a blank canvas. We'll create a section, and now let's add the widgets. I'm going to first add the logo. This is a, let's say, a key functionality in Elementor to make the element inline. You can vertically center, or you can push it on one of the sides. I'm going to leave it like this for the moment. Let's add some padding. Let's say 30 with 30. Okay, and let's add the others. We had search. We had the car and the account panel. There we go. And now we'll just make them all in line. Okay, so as you can see, they don't look good, obviously. We can do this to push. As you can see, it goes to the left and pushes the others to the right. We'll just do it like this, and let's add some margins. Yes, and one more thing, let's make them center aligned in the middle. Okay, and now with the menu we can either do this, it will set itself to the center, or we could do this and it's going to push the others to the right. And let's say more, 40 pixels, and that's about it. Each element has the option to override the settings from the customizer. So for example, if I access the customizer options, yeah, there are a bunch of options, but in my opinion you can do it here, it's good enough. You can change the menu source, or you can enable the menu, the mobile menu, as you can see here, and you can set the breakpoint where the main menu will transform itself into the burger icon. So now it's 1025 pixels, but in my opinion it's best to leave it like this. And also you have a bunch of customization settings for either the first level menu items, these ones, the sub menu items, the mobile panel, the one from the mobiles, and you can also customize the burger icon. Okay, so now we covered the header types, and we'll go into the header positions. I'm going to close. I'll just refresh this one, and okay, so you can see this option here, which has three choices: relative, absolute, and fixed. Relative means it's basically static. This content will not overlap with the header. However, if I select absolute, this content should go under the header. And if I select, but it's static, it will just stay there. And if we select fixed, it should overlap and stay fixed. You can control the overlapping setting. If you want this content not to be under the header, but it will still be fixed. And that's about it with the positions. To try to create another video to show how the fixed header is best customized, but these two, the relative and absolute, are super basic and each have a specific purpose. Now remember, these are global settings, so as pointed out here, you can assign and customize the header per page. So for example, if I select relative, okay, this is the default, and then edit the page, the home page, here we should find these singular settings, and selecting the header tab will open some options. For example, you can change the actual header. For example, if you want to show a different totally different header, you can just select it here. You can change the header text, but I'll get into that a bit later. The header position, so let's say absolute, and you can specify the overlapping option, and we'll say yes. In this combination, the absolute with no here, it's redundant, so I don't recommend that. So it's best to just keep it yes. And you can change the logo, override, sorry, the logo. So now if we save and refresh the page, you can see the header has changed to absolute, and if we go to say another page, it will still be the same, like the global, which is a relative, set to relative. Now getting back to the header text, you can pick, for example, a white color, and we refresh, and as you can see, the text has changed, and here it stays the same. But what I want to specify is that in order to be able to colorize these header elements, you must make sure to keep all elements on default. So for example, if I click the menu here on the color, it must be set to blank. If you select, for example, a color and reload, as you can see, it will change itself to red, or the color that has been set. So if you want to use this header text option, you will need to make this remove this color. Same goes for the other elements. So finally, I'm going to show you how to import a pre-made header. So I'm going to let's say here, I'm going to select a new global header, custom header 2, great. So as you can see, this button here will open a window with lots of template sections and various other content, among which you can find the headers. So as you can see, all the demos headers can be found here. I'm going to, let's say, pick this one. This notice is shown that the menu is not included because the menu was created on that demo and you'll need to manually create yourself in the backend. And as you can see, this is the menu. One final thing I would like to talk about is creating a custom canvas menu. So by default, let me just reset this. I'm going to pause. So okay, I just reset this. By default, the mobile menu will look like this. One second, and let's pick an iPhone. As you can see, it will open a default panel with some menus. Now this is basic. You can make a few adjustments. For example, you can edit the menus settings in the backend, and let's say the mobile panel. You can set the slide direction, panel width, a custom logo, colors, and you can also disable that footer menu, this one right here, or you can set social icons if you want, or you can just disable the mega menus. And also to have a custom hamburger icon. Okay, so this is the default. It will be basically, it will inherit the main menu from desktop, but you can also select a different menu. For example, another one. And as you can see, the menu has been changed. Now you can specify a different source type, and this is the off canvas global section. Now as you can see, there's no off canvas panel created, so I'm going to I'm going to create a new one. Great, so you can find all of its settings here. For example, the close position, the width, the transition type, and anyway, let's first import one second. Let's import this. It's basically the only one. Let's import it. And as you can see, there's a bunch of content here. I'm going to show everything that's inside. We first have a toggle box, which is set to target tabs, and this section here is set to be a tabs section. So each of these boxes or menu items will coincide with each column in this section. And then we have a button, another menu, a search box, and another menu which points to the WooCommerce's account menu, and of course some social icons and some contact details. Great, so I just imported this one. I'm going to reload here. And I'm going to pick the newly created one. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, not sure what's going on, but this is how it works. So yeah, seems like I had to save again and it just worked. So it will open a totally different panel with all sorts of content that you wish. So just a little edit, I added this new chapter, how to create a complex header, because looking at the Athens demo, this header is certainly complex. It involves multiple techniques such as hiding the top section, using another a toggle box element to toggle between various tabs. I'll show you later how. And another trick is to show the third section when hovering this bar here. Also, one more thing, the mobile version is totally different, is much more minimal. So let's edit. First, let's just go to the customizer to see how the global settings are added. So first we go to header general, and you can see the header is picked. The fixed version is picked as well. The overlapping content is disabled. This is to prevent the header to overlap the upcoming content. And one more thing that's enabled is to animate header on scroll. Now this is not exactly an animation, but it provides a bit more customization options. So what I mean by that is when accessing the header in Elementor, when clicking on a section, a new panel with settings will show up, which is dedicated for the fixed settings. So for example, this one here, which as seen here is hiding when scrolling. When clicking here, you can see hide on scroll is disabled, it's enabled. The next section is just having an exact height forced on it, and the third will show when hovering the header. Now this only applies when it's on a sticked state. Great. Now as I told before, we have this section right here which is hidden from desktop, so it's the mobile version of the header, and this is a common technique to have a completely different header for each breakpoint. As you can see, this is visible, and this one right here is hidden on both tablet and mobile. One more thing I would like to talk here about is the toggle boxes and its connection with this intersection, which is set as tabs. Now each menu item here will coincide with each column in this section. The green sections are marked as tabs. So here in this section, in this column, which is, let's say, a tab 1, tab 2, and tab 3, and in each one there's a different menu. You can pick the, sorry, let's go to, when this happens, just access the appearance menus and simply save the menu. And let's refresh. Yeah, so each menu will need to be resaved. It's just an import issue. I will try to fix it, but it's not that easy. Anyway, so getting back, we have an intersection marked as tabs, and we have a toggle box, which both are connected through the tabs ID. Also, one more thing I would like to point out is that this particular header has an off canvas menu. So for example, when on mobile, would show that particular off canvas menu that I just talked about earlier. That's about it. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment forms, or if you have a support request, make sure to send it to me. See you in the next video.